What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. Alright, first story up is called, Sir, I live here. Please go away. Ugh. First off, I am so glad I finally found something to tell all my weird, strange, and totally crazy stories on. I love it here. Okay, so on to the story. I live in a mobile home on property that has been passed down for generations. It belonged to my great-grandma, my grandma, and now my mama. So, if something was to happen to my mama, the land would go to my brother and I. Since he already has a house with one of my favorite sister-in-laws, the land and house would belong to me. So my parents and I were talking one day, and I mentioned how I was craving some peaches. I usually get them in the jar, filled with sweet juice. Yum! And Mama said that's something she's wanted to get for a while. Some peach trees. So I got all excited and went to a co-op. If you don't know what a co-op is, it's a place where you can get gardening tools, seeds, trees, plants, fishing gear, etc. It's like a mall for us country folks. I get to the co-op and find the peach trees, call Mama, give her the price, and told her there were some plum trees available as well. So I get one plum tree and one peach tree. I get the plant food and some bricks and other stuff to decorate around it. I get home and my dad asked if I could plant them because he had to take a family friend to therapy. Fine enough. I grew up being a tomboy, so I know what I'm doing. I come out of the house in my messy clothes, my gloves, and whatever else I need. Now, I already had the stuff laid out in the yard, knew where I was planting them and all, but something in my gut and spirit was throwing me off. You ever get the feeling you were being watched? Yeah, I had that feeling. I look up and it's a white car driving by, mighty slow. Okay, so what's not about to happen is my big ass getting kidnapped in broad daylight. No ma'am, no ham, no turkey, no bacon. Not today. For a female, I know how to take care of myself. I go in the house and get my knife that I keep for protection and stick it in my pocket. I should note that there are two entrances in our yard that are connected. So it's like you come in one entrance and you can go out the other. I come back outside and this same car came back and pulled into our yard and went out the other way. Okay, now I'm creeped out. So I grab my phone and put 911 on speed dial. I've lived in this neighborhood my whole life, but I'm a homebody. I don't like going out that much. So after I put the phone on speed dial, I put it right next to me on my small table and start digging my holes for our trees. Soon as I'm done digging, I grab the plant food and the trees, fix them up real nice and straight, and put the dirt back over. Now it's time for me to decorate. My favorite part. I grab my bricks and everything else, and not even 5 minutes of me starting, the same damn car is driving by. But this time, it came into the second entrance and pulled all the way into the yard and stopped. Some tall, lanky guy steps out and says,
"How much?"
Huh?
"How much you charge to do all this? I like the work you did. I'm looking for someone to do a job like this."
So I'm looking at him, all confused, and I say, "I'm sorry, sir, but I don't do this for work. I'm just planting in the yard." He gives me a side eye and says,
"How do you not do this for work? Clearly the owner of this house paid you to do it. Just give me an estimate. A man like you can do the work."
Okay, I know I'm a damn tomboy, but how the hell do you mistake a female with big titties, a fat ass, and thick thighs for a man? So I look at him all mad and say, 1, I am not a damn man. 2, I don't do this for work. 3, this is my house and you are trespassing. Did you not see the no trespassing sign on the tree by the entrance? Big and black sign with big capital red letters. So now he got this
"I don't want to hear no excuse"
attitude and says,
"Look, man, I just want a damn estimate. It's not that hard to do. Just come up with a price to do the yard work."
Yep, right about now, I'm pissed to the highest level of pisstivity. I remember I had my phone already on speed dial, so I told him to either leave willingly or the police will be called. Whole time, I already pressed dial. This fool really stood there for a second, completely stepped out of the car and stood next to it and said, "No!" Said somebody was gonna hear about how I, who to him is still a man, won't give him service. Then asked the stupid question, where is my van or truck with our company name? Yep, my level of pissivity is going higher. I'm giving the 911 operator my address, and when he said that, I screamed out, "Get your ass off my property! I told you, you Barilla-looking ass, this was my house, and that I wasn't a man! But you about to get your saggy body built like a pickle ass beat like a damn man if you don't leave!" Mind you, I have my other hand in my pocket with my finger on the button of my knife if he tries something. The whole time he's still standing there arguing with me. A few minutes go by and the police show up, and it just so happens to be a cop I've known since I was a kid. He was my big brother's chief when my brother was a policeman. Knew my mama and my daddy. Boy, was I happy to see him. Soon as he stepped out and asked what happened, I couldn't get a word out before this maniac went ape crap crazy about how I, an employee to a gardening company, cursed at him, true, threatened him, also true, and assaulted him. Whoa now, false! Chief looked at me and at the house and back at me and said,
"Baby girl, is that you?"
I looked at him, took off my garden hat, showing my high afro puff, put my glasses on and said, "Yup, it's me, Chief." Dude's jaw dropped, then looked me up and down. Chief said,
"This is a female, sir. She lives here in this house. I know her and her family very well. She doesn't work for a garden company. She and her parents just like to garden in their yard. You have been warned to leave this property because it is a private property and you refused, so now I have to arrest you. You better be glad she didn't assault you like you claim she did, because for one, with this being their property, they have a right to defend themselves on this property if you're still on it. And two, this girl grew up watching wrestling and wrestled with my boys. She'd kick your ass. Okay, hands behind your back. I'll call a tow company to come pick up your car."
Meanwhile, I'm just standing there, big ass grin on my face. When the chief was leaving, my dad pulled up and asked what happened. I told him the whole story and he pressed charges because he was on our property. Oh, and now we have fresh peaches and plums that are so sweet. They've given me sugar bumps. Little tiny bumps that come up from eating something extremely sweet and are very, very itchy. Letting everyone know I am not diabetic. I get tested every month. Why my phone keep trying to say money instead of month? Must be another stimulus check coming. I have even switched doctors and still don't have diabetes. My doctor has told me that my case of sugar bumps is not severe because I stopped eating sweets like I used to as a child. I don't eat it all day every day. I drink my water, I eat my veggies, and anything else. I usually only do sweets on the weekends, but now I only do it if I have a taste for it. And on Friday, July 24th, I'm getting me a cheesecake and chowing down because I have a taste for it. Hey, atta girl, that's the attitude. Just make sure you stay healthy, which is what you're saying you're doing, but just making sure you know. Because eating when you feel like it is a slippery frickin' slope. But anyway, good job being safe, good job being responsible, and good job standing your ground. Because I'm aware of the fact that literally just being a woman can make you feel like a target a lot of times. That's not good, especially when you're just trying to chill and garden at your own home, planting some peach and plum trees, which, by the way, sounds incredible right now. Peaches are bomb. Okay, so this story is called "Thank You to the Man Who Defended Me at Walmart." I'll start out by explaining briefly that we've just moved to the area we're living in. I'm extremely new to the area and it makes me a little more nervous than normal. I am legally deaf. That doesn't mean I can't hear anything at all, but you definitely gotta speak slowly and very loud, especially with this pandemic and these masks. I can lip read really well, but with the masks, I'm at a loss, unfortunately. I was wandering the local Walmart. I'm dressed in a bright yellow shirt and a pair of yoga pants, and I'm wearing my DOT-approved motorcycle helmet with the visor down instead of a mask. Masks are mandatory, but they never seem to mind letting letting me in as long as I keep my visor down while I shop. That makes me even more deaf than usual. My helmet is bright white. Not hard to tell I don't work there. There is no mistaking that I don't work at Walmart. I have my hearing aids in, but they tend to have a wide V effect with 3 separate mics, and I don't hear people behind me very well, if at all. It just mutes background noise so I can focus on what's in front of me. Even with the hearing aids, I have serious difficulty hearing people with my helmet on. I clearly have a few items in my hands, sandwich meats and bread. I am following the arrows they put down and I'm squatting down, looking for a can of Campbell's mushroom soup. Suddenly, there is a very aggressive, repeated smack against my shoulder. I actually screamed because I hadn't seen her come up behind me and was not expecting anyone in this pandemic to be close enough to actually touch me. She scared the absolute hell out of me. I twisted and landed hard on my butt, partially landing on and squishing my bread. I can suddenly see this woman, and she is wearing her mask, gesturing wildly. I can hear the murmur of her voice, but with the visor down and my helmet on, I can't understand her properly. My hearing aids are pressed against the padding of my helmet and are moderately useless with the visor down. She doesn't react that I've fallen, just gestures wildly and her voice is rising. I finally make out what I think is, "How is the mat fuel?" It's weird the way your brain fills in blanks when you can't hear someone or read their lips. I just shake my head. I say, "I don't know." I know my response is muffled by my helmet because she keeps at it. While on my ass, I sign wildly, "I don't know, I don't know," all the while shrugging my shoulders and shaking my head hard. Unfortunately to her, maybe it looks like I'm saluting her, still on the ground. She says in an extremely loud voice, "If I can hear you and I'm wearing my danged helmet with the visor down, you're speaking extremely loud. Where is the cat food?" There's a man behind her wearing a mask who was socially distancing until she raised her voice. I see him approach quickly. He doesn't work here either, and I can hear him literally yell at her. Again, "If I can hear you, you are loud." "Hey, lady, don't touch her! What's wrong with you?" This attracts the attention of nearby people, and thankfully, 2 people who actually work there. I see the blue shirts coming, and I just skirt back from the lady as she turns away from me and starts bickering with the man. I can't hear most of it, but I can definitely see it escalating. I stand up, step back further, and brush myself off. I pick up my sandwich meats, but the bread is a lost cause. One employee clearly tries to de-escalate the situation, and she is just shrill and gesturing madly. I can no longer hear the man. He's not raising his voice anymore. One of the staff, standing beside me now, I turn to face her, and I think she's asking me if I'm okay. I shrug and throw off a few signs. "I'm deaf, sorry, don't know her," and I point aggressively at the lady who scared me. The man is explaining everything that happened to the other staff member. The second employee seems to understand that I'm deaf and just nods. She motions for me to step back further from the argument, and I do, and she puts herself between myself and the small knot of people. There's a brief heated discussion. The employee is shaking his head, some of which I can hear and some of which I can't, as the man speaks to the other staff. I can hear her briefly again, something about "ever again." The lady is then actually escorted from the store, her cart left behind, by one staff member. I was super surprised by that. When all is said and done, it seems he saw the whole thing. Things quiet down quickly. The customer who intervened points at me and flashes the OK symbol most people know. Pointer finger to the thumb, 3 fingers out. I smiled and nodded. I signed and loudly said, "Thank you," before the Walmart employee led me back to the area to get new bread. I flashed the man the peace sign before I left and signed "thank you" again before being led away. Edit! A. Please don't touch people in a pandemic. B. If someone doesn't hear you, put your hand into or step slowly into their line of sight. They may be deaf. C. Bish, I clearly didn't work there. Edit 2. I'm gonna end up adding this as an edit because it'll easier explain my stupidity. I typically carry a reusable mask with me. I have 6 cotton masks with multiple layers and filters in black that I wash and reuse. Today was the one day I did not. And yes, I take the blame for that 100%. I even have mask stretchers that fit my mask on the upper part of my head so as to not interfere with my hearing aids. I was doing laundry last night, as my masks are reusable, and thought for sure I still had one in my purse. Unfortunately, I did not. I would have respectfully understood if they deferred me from entering the store, as whereas it's a full face and head helmet with a visor and dual shield. It doesn't equate to a mask, and boy does the visor fog up fast. I made even more so than usual to socially distance, and will definitely be more mindful of checking my purse in the future for a mask before I leave instead of assuming I have one in there. Hey, see, look at that. This is someone who has maturity, who can accept that, hey, even in a situation like this, there are some mistakes that were made and they can improve themselves. I messed up. That's fine. But geez, that Karen was freaking crazy. How entitled to someone's help do you have to be to full on assault someone like that? Anyway, I hope everything's okay with OP here. Seems like a very nice person, and good on the dude for standing up for them. All right, this story's called, But What If You Did Work Here? This is my husband's story. He works for a company that restocks the markets for their own products only. Quite often, he gets stopped by customers asking where something is. Sometimes it's their own products, so he is able to show them. Most times, it's other items. Usually, customers understand once he says he's just a vendor and doesn't work for the store. One funny time, a lady asked him for some item, which ensued this funny conversation. I was on the phone with him. Here's the cast. Husband.
Lady, excuse me? Where is
Product. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't work here. I just work for company.
Okay, well, if you did work here, where would it be?
I really wouldn't know.
But like, pretend if you did work here, where would it be?
Okay, this is a good one. All right, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you let me know how much you like the new audio quality, because I spent a ridiculous amount of money on this microphone. And I'm gonna feel really bad if it's not that much of a difference to you guys. But if it is, let me know, please. Please, please. Like, please. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.